Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade. Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade.
Private jet flights overseas. Damn piece.
What do y'all actually think about this virus? Think about it. You had a virus come from out of nowhere. They say, hey, it came from China. It's China's fault. Blame China. Now it's in America. Then we say, okay, well, I tell you what, we now have this vaccine and we want everybody to take this vaccine. Then we get people to take the vaccine and then people start to get sick. People start to get these allergic reactions. I'm just curious. Like right now, if you're one of those people, you're a conspiracist. Like you say there's a conspiracy theory behind this. They want us to take this because they want to wipe out half of the population. I'm just curious. Like, hey, you know what? What do you think? Do you think by taking this vaccine, it's a means to say we're going to get rid of some people? This is a perfect way for the government to control America. So I'm really curious. I have one person say, hey, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking it. How many people feel like, hey, I'm not taking this virus unless it is bona fide and certified that I have the virus? If I've went this far, this long, I've been wearing masks, I've been taking all of the preliminary precautions, washing my hands, practicing social distancing, you know what I'm saying, making sure that I quarantine in place, just not going out and about acting reckless. So I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm not getting the shot. And then you have, so what if you have a job that it's mandated you get a shot? Like those people in the military. What if it's mandated that you get a shot? You cannot refuse to have this shot. Somebody said, you got anthrax? Yes, everybody in the military that I know had to get the anthrax shot. Yes, it was mandated that you get the anthrax shot. So would this not be another mandate to say, hey, if you are a soldier in the military, if you are in the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Navy, you are now mandated to get this shot. Some people have turned this coronavirus vaccine into some type of political push in regards to racism. Hey, we're going to use this to now mitigate the population of African Americans. Some people feel like getting this shot is going to be the downfall, like it's going to end their life. Do you feel like at this point in time that in order for you to get the shot, you have to get the shot around somebody that matters? A celebrity, a politician, hey, the local pastor, the mayor, the governor. I have to get the shot the same day, the same time, the same dosage that they get to make sure that I'm getting something legitimate. How many people want proof that it works? It's too soon. Hey, I'm not taking nothing that's not been actually bona fide and certified to actually work. There are a lot of conspiracies in regards to this coronavirus vaccine. My man says the truth is life been over. We just too distracted to realize. That's a hell of a statement. Well, I'm hoping that people are trying to live the best life that they can. But here's the thing, as we, jump, further into next year, we're getting closer and closer to all those New Year's resolutions. The things that people say they're going to do, but they never get around to quite doing it. And as we play into this whole narrative of the world is condemned with this pandemic and it's a lot of people dying and, what do we do to now save face? What do we do to now say, peace and blessings to you? What do we do now to say, this is what I'm doing to protect myself and my family? I want to make sure sure that my leg can take. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to march my entire family down, the entire household down to the local distribution area where they're giving out this vaccine, and we all gonna get this shot. And you do that, and a week later, you start to get these symptoms. Whether it's itching, stomach pain, ulcers, discoloration in the eyes and skin, and profuse sweating, twitching, seizures. What happens then? What happens next? Says, I'll get that vaccine if I'm dying. I think a lot of people feel like that. Like first of all, you have to verify that I have this. Like you have to verify that I have this goddamn disease in order for me, or this virus, in order for me to say, hey, I'm gonna take the antibody. I'm gonna take the cure. You know, I don't think a lot of people trust what's going on in the government right now. I think a lot of people are still in uproar with this whole Trump and Biden, presidential push. I think a lot of people right now are just saying, look, I'm looking out for me and mines. I ain't trying to have no extra fucking shit going on. So I am not about to shoot no make-believe goddamn sugar water in my arm and say this is going to be the cure that cures all. I honestly believe, for me, I believe that I need to see some bona fide proof that this is actually a vaccine. Like, I want to see you are infected. I want to see the sickness just running through your veins and pouring out your eyes. And I want you to see you get injected, and I want to see you get cured. Okay, whatever he just took or she just took, give me that, because obviously it works. Okay. He says, I have a friend who got the vaccine. Okay, well, hopefully that friend is definitely still alive and doing well. I mean, I would love to talk to somebody who got the vaccine. How did it feel? Did they have any side effects? Were they able to eat and sleep and all that good stuff, or whatever case may be? I would love to feel it, but I'm curious how many people right now would take this vaccine, would say, hey, I'm going down to my local health department and I'm going to take this vaccine. Better yet, for some reason, how many people would let their kids take it? How many people would trust their kids to take this vaccine? He got it in July. Okay, all right. That's interesting. I didn't even know the vaccine was available in July. I thought the vaccine had actually just came out. So that's interesting. I mean, I'm just really curious about how many people feel like, we are in a position right now in America where we trust our government. We trust the voice and the conviction of our government to say this is for the American people, not just black, not just white, Hispanic, Korean. This is for all. He was a test dummy. I appreciate everybody coming in right now. This is Mario J. This is Tough Love. We're talking about, should you take the coronavirus vaccination? Do you believe that the government is for real? Hey, this is for everyone. Shout out to everybody in the building right now. MONEYBOY Trey, Knighton in the building. Mr. Walker, I see you. Anybody wants to jump on the panel, feel free to jump on the panel if you want to. But we're just, I really want to dive into this. Please hit the like button. Don't do me like that. Share the podcast. Leave me some feedback. Let's talk about it. Ms. Ebony says the effects may not be immediate. They may come within the vaccine too quickly for me. Yeah, exactly. I understand that. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people who are saying the same thing. I don't trust the government to cure me. I don't trust them to say this vaccine is for me. It's a lot of people in the urban community that's saying, I'm going to let the white people take it first. I'm going to let the white people take it first. And when they take it, the day that they take it, I'm going to make sure I'm in close proximity and I'm going to take what they taking. Can you imagine? Let me ask y'all a real question. Thank you for hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Can you imagine if I wanted to get rid of all the urban communities, the more populated urban communities or whatever case may be? Can you imagine me sending these vials down to the health department there, and then you going to these public free places and getting this vaccine? And maybe not eventually, but within 6 months, 6 to 9 months, black people start dying off in these urban communities. Can you imagine what that would look like and be like? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Think about, I want you to think about where you live at, whether it's New York, Chicago, LA, New Orleans, somewhere in the Carolinas, the Midwest, regardless of where you live at. I want you to think about the most populated urban community that you have within your state. Okay. And not anywhere where it's a lot of black people in a suburb. I want you to think about the vile areas. Okay. I want you to think about all of the bad areas that you have, all of the places that people do not venture to after a certain time when dark falls. Can you imagine everybody within that community taking a vaccine that would wipe them out? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? I'm sure that you guys can read that. Mr. Wilson has just jumped on the thing. This virus has impacted businesses and the economy, which is why the vaccine was rushed. The problem may be that schools and businesses may make it mandatory to receive the vaccine. Exactly. I just said the same thing. Can you imagine your boss coming in there? Sugar Shay in the building. Sugar Shay, let me drop this link down here if you want to join. Hey, over here is always free. You're always welcome to join if you want to. But I'm really curious, you guys, like how many people are really trusting the government to say, I'm really wanting you to give me a vaccine that I don't know that's working. Mr. Wilson is very on point. Imagine if your boss tells you, in order for you to keep this job during this pandemic, you have to get this goddamn shot. And you don't know if it works or not. And then all of a sudden you get sick. You're going home to your family members. And here's the thing. Do you think that your boss can tell you, if you take it, your family must also be vaccinated in order for you to work here? Cool. That's cool. Great. Hey, welcome aboard. If you take this shot, your family must also have this shot. And you have to bring us proof that you all have taken the shot. So now it's almost like like the pandemic is being forced within your home for you to correct in regards to saying, okay, I don't want to get vaccinated, but my job is telling me I got to get vaccinated. Not only do I have to get vaccinated, I have to prove that everyone in my household has now received the vaccination in order for me to continue working in this location. Oh, it's about to be some shit happening. Thank you for hitting that like. I appreciate it. It's about to be some shit to happen. That's a great point about health insurance. Like, how many people actually have health insurance? Man, bump, not only health insurance, but how many black people actually have life insurance? That's a conversation that you don't hear all the time. That's a conversation that you don't hear all the time. We hear a lot of promotion about this and that and this and this. But how many people say, you know what? I am so nervous about taking this vaccine because I know damn well I am the alpha and omega. I am the bread and butter. I am the person that put the bacon on the table. And if something happens to me, Oh Lord. Oh Lord. But everyone is so nervous and so shook about this vaccine that no one is thinking, or there are very few people that are thinking, what about if something happens to me? Do I have something in place to help my family if I transition? That means if you die, if you kick the bucket, if you go into the upper room, I said the upper room. We got MONEYBOY Trey in the building. What's going on, Trey?
I'm trying. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
I keep hearing some say the upper room.
The upper room? That was me, brother. But how do you feel about this whole vaccine? Do you feel like, people should take it? Are you going to take it? What do you feel?
Um, I will take it if I need it, but I'm not afraid to take it. Like if I have to take it, I would take it. And I believe that my 2-year-old daughter is going to have to take it because she's a heart transplant recipient, and anything that they recommend, we pretty much have to do. Otherwise, it'll affect her when she needs a heart in the next 18, 19 years.
That's a good point. What about people with medical conditions? Are people being pushed that have conditions to say, hey, you might want to get this vaccine or it will worsen your medical condition? That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. So I'm glad you brought that up. But let me ask you something. If you were on a job and this is your bread and butter, of course, the pandemic has conditioned a lot of people to be without work. But for those people who are lucky enough to have work still, if your boss came to you and said, you have to take this vaccination, but you were totally against it, what would you do? Would you continue to be on that job and take that vaccination or say the hell with it?
If it's my bread and butter, I'm like most people, I would take it.
Okay. So you wouldn't say this is a violation of my rights. You wouldn't try to raise some hell. You would just say, okay, hey, I'm gonna go with the flow.
I mean, we're so used to our rights being violated daily from different shit. Why make a big deal about this one?
Mm.
Because, like I
Okay.
said earlier, when the swine flu and the Ebola and all of that shit came out, we got vaccines for that shit immediately, and nobody was weary of it. Nobody was like, "Well, it came out too quick." Either you take it if you want to, if you don't, nobody's gonna force you. But the bigger question is, forget the job. What are we gonna do if they say, in order for your kids to return back to school in person, you must get this vaccine? Then we're gonna have some real decisions to make.
I totally agree with you. I really think that I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's so crazy because you don't start thinking about life until something challenges it. You don't start saying I'm living my best life until something catastrophic happens in your life to say now I'm going to start doing certain things. There are not a lot of people who live their lives like that. So now it's just like, okay, well, I've somehow survived this pandemic. I've somehow escaped the capture of the coronavirus and all its symptoms. I've kept social distancing. I've did my quarantine. I've kept my mask on. I've washed my hands. I've done all of these things, right? Now we're saying, hey, I don't know if this goddamn this vaccine is gonna get me fucking sick. So now it's a bit scarier because now people are saying, well, if I take this vaccine, is it too early? Am I going to be a test dummy? Or do I look at this as, you know what, if the government is giving it out, it must be good. It must be okay. So the next question for you, brother, is do you trust the government to give you a vaccine that works?
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't think you was going to do that, brother.
I mean, I trust. I mean, on this one, I don't trust them any less than I do on anything else. I mean, if the pandemic is actually as real as they say, they do realize we have to realize they do have to come up with something to stop the spread of it. And vaccines is what we do. We're in a state of emergency, so no one should be alarmed at how quick the vaccine got pushed out because this is not just the U.S. that has it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worldwide vaccine. It wasn't even made here.
Hmm. So you're saying that the same vaccine that the U.S. government is providing is the same thing that China is doing it.
China got rid of theirs without the vaccine, but that's a whole nother can of worms.
Hmm. So
When was
it's
the
not
last
the
time you
same.
heard
It's
about
not
an
the same
outbreak?
vaccine then. So it's not the same vaccine. If they're not using the same medicine that we're using to get rid of or to handle or mitigate this issue, then it's not the same. So my question would be is why is America different? We're all humans. We all have the same blood, white blood cells. So why is it we're not human? Let me do something real quick. Shout out to my man Jaye, was on the Ricky Smiley. It looked like it was a talent show. He did his thing singing Purple Rain. Shout out to Jaye. So do you feel like we should follow suit with what China's doing, or should America make up their own thing?
Well, if you want to do like China is, China has the ability to tell their people to go in the house and don't come out. They have
Mm.
the ability to restrict their travel and all of that shit. So we could, and that's part of how they cut their spread down. Plus, they also have every region has their own ancient medicine philosophies and techniques that they always practice, and they all have their modern medical advancements. So everybody's on a different scale when it comes to that. But yes, their outbreaks stop without a vaccine being available, unless they had one and didn't tell us.
I think first of all, I think that's bullshit what you just said. You know I respect you and shit. I
Which part?
think it's bullshit. Listen, America has the know-how and ability to say, I want everybody to stay home. The issue is that we need to keep the economy going. And how we do that is saying, get your ass out there and do X, Y, and Z. First of all, if you're a first responder, like shout out to Jeremy in the building, who's a first responder. If you work in a hospital, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I believe that there are certain people that, again, they're first responders. They're going to be out in the mix and have to do certain things. But I truly believe that we opened up too soon. We could have shut shit down. We could have kept things closed. But people was like, "Oh hell no, we need to get this pushed open." And there was a lot of governors and mayors who didn't make the hard decision, and they wanted to open up because guess what? If you open up, I'm gonna slide you a couple dollars here, on the side, so that way you can open up. You think about it. The president of the United States could have said, "Nope, keep everything shut." But in order to get that pressure off of him, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let the people in the states run the states. And there was a lot of people to me who made the wrong decision and opened up too soon. And there was a spike in this pandemic and not a decrease in this pandemic.
Well, I'm currently in Tennessee. I know our lockdown restrictions in Memphis were bullshit, but I looked at a news story today that said Tennessee is like the leading spot in the, I don't know, let me read. I think it was the world or the country, but Tennessee leads it, and I could kind of attribute that to our lax lockdown policies. Our shit was pretty much everything just closed at like at first the first 2 weeks everything had to close at 6, and by the time we got into a month and a half in it, we were back to business as normal.
See, and that right there is the shit that I'm talking about when people are sitting in these seats of power, of decision making, of leadership, and they do things that's going to jeopardize your family's health and the future of your family's legacy.
Oh
And
yeah,
there are not
go
a lot of people. First of all, I felt like, what did you let me back up a little bit. I'm getting beside myself. Thank you everybody for sharing, hitting that like button. If you're just tuning in, I am Mario J. This is Tough Love, and we're talking about um, do you feel that you want to get this coronavirus vaccination, or you're not going to do it. But what I wanted to back up a little bit, I'm getting a lot of comments, a lot of great feedback. I appreciate everything. I'm trying to get everything listed here. But I want to ask you something about this stimulus check. Since we did shut down America for a little while, what did you feel about the stimulus check? Do you feel like it was enough? It was right on time? People did the right thing with the money? What's your outtake on that?
It was right on time. when it hit, because a lot of people were sent home and because they didn't know what the lockdown and quarantine protocols were going to call for. So it was needed at that time. I don't think it's needed as much because, as I said last night, jobs are every fucking where now. Everybody's hiring.
So you felt like the money that was sent from the government, the I guess the first and only stimulus check, it was enough to suffice the needs of people not working.
Well, if you like a single person got 1,200, I don't know how far that may have taken them, but like a family, the kids, if they had kids, they got like an extra 500. Some people benefited off of it. People that are on welfare that didn't work anyway, they just came up on like an extra $4,000 or $5,000.
Okay, so you're saying in your predicament, let's just talk about your shit. You're saying for you it was beneficial.
Yep, I
Okay.
paid 2 months rent with it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. 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 So, do you think that the government did enough though?
Um, that's a tough one because I saw so many small businesses pop up and people who had never had millions of dollars given to them before pop up, whether it was they got it illegally or legally. So it's kind of tough. I don't individually I would say no, they kind of dropped the ball, but collectively I think they did.
I'm about to say some hard shit, bro. You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, because I'm about that life.
Oh, we're not simping today.
We simping maybe later. I don't know. I don't. No, but let me ask you something. So Joel Osteen, which is I guess I could say prolific pastor or preacher or whatever you want to call him,
That
um,
motherfucker.
in the Texas area. It's from my understanding he received, I believe it was $4 million.
Yep.
But it was definitely over $1 million. So can you imagine his church receiving $1 million versus you receiving a $1,200 stimulus check? What do you feel he needed with over $1 million versus you as an actual individual family?
Well, first of all, Joel Osteen is trash because he's the same person that didn't want to open his church up when the flood in Houston happened and let people come stay in. He's trash. But the part of him getting the money, that just comes with having a business at the right time. I
Mm.
think the government should have done a better job of picking and choosing who they gave the money to because a lot of people missed out. Like Joel Osteen, his church was big enough to survive. There's some of the smaller churches though, where they told them they couldn't open and they didn't have the means to do virtual shit because they're older churches. They missed out. They weren't able to get money like that.
You know what's so crazy to me, man? I be wondering, like, when there are major issues going on in people's city, and then you still drive and you see homeless people under bridges and stuff, but then you have all of these magnificent structures. You know what I'm saying? Just like that Joel Osteen's church. Like, why don't the government say, hey, listen, everybody that have these churches, because don't nobody live in the churches. So we're going to take these people here and we're going to take them to this church and we're going to provide them, with a place to stay during the winter or, during a pandemic, and I just feel so bad because sometimes I feel like we don't do enough as humans to help out our fellow man. And I realize that a lot of people say, man, listen, I'm trying to get my own shit together. Who you think you talking to, bruh? You know what I'm saying? And I get that, but sometimes it seems so every man's for itself at the wrong time. Do you think that this pandemic has brought people together?
Yeah. Well, you know what? No, it did not. Now that I think about it, hell no. Look at all the civil and political unrest we've had since Corona.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk
We
about the
got
political unrest.
Okay, you got the Black Lives Matters protests going on. You got Trump supporters versus non-Trump supporters. You got maskers versus like if you didn't want to wear a mask, everybody assumed you were a Trump supporter. If you wanted to wear it, the shit was just crazy. Nobody it anything that had something to do with COVID, people were at odds. Is it real? No, it's not. Heat kills it. No, it's not. Black people can't get it at first. Now they targeting black people. It was hell no. It didn't bring us together in retrospect.
Do you feel like the coronavirus is targeting black people?
No,
Okay, because I was hearing that myself, and I had to check the numbers on that. So that actually came out to be a little bit farce.
pro
But
black.
let me ask you something in regards to the political unrest that you were talking about. I'm curious how Black Lives Matter plays into this political unrest. Like, what do you think the primary factors are in that?
Money.
Okay, money, like how? Can you expound on that?
Everything that they did generated money. Them people just being out there, the hashtags, it generated money to them, which was funneled to the Democratic Party, who just so happened to. It went to nothing but Democratic people, whether they made it to the last dance to be in the running to see who was going to actually be the primary candidate for the Democrats. It all went to them, Elizabeth Warren, all of them. So it went to politics and they cashed in on it.
Mm, So do you think the whole because a lot of people are still saying that the George Floyd thing was staged. So do you think that that was a part of the narrative to push the Democrat or Republican Party narrative?
Now, I think it was just something that happened at the perfect time that was so unbelievable that the world had to pay attention to it. And with attention comes money. Everybody, even all the news stations that covered it, they got money. They got paid for it.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I did a couple videos because I was really I was appalled like many of you with the whole George Floyd situation. And I definitely spoke out against the I guess the rhetoric that was being pushed by Candace Owens. For those of
You
you that
leave
don't
that
know,
queen alone.
yeah, okay. But I definitely spoke out against that. I'm I'm on the fence in regards to do I believe that that was staged or not. I'm on the fence. I'm still on the fence, but I do believe that if it was staged or if it was not staged, the fact of the matter is, I think it was the act itself. To be as powerless as George Floyd was, whether it was made up or not, and to have a man, whether white, black, or indifferent, uh, put his knee on someone's neck, and for someone to call out for their mother in such a heinous way, I believe that sent, gave America a public black eye. Like, America has been taking a lot of L's, and I think that gave a black eye to America publicly around the world very quickly. And a lot of people was like, well, this is the reason for it, and this is the reason. This is a conspiracy behind it. But my whole thing about it, especially with this pandemic, I honestly think that the George Floyd thing, or death, brought people together. It made people realize that we do have a major problem that we've only heard about behind closed doors or maybe 5 minutes on a news station. This brought it to the forefront, and I believe that it was necessary for people who've never seen anything like that outside a movie. That this is something real, and I think it forced people to want to have a conversation. So with this whole pandemic, I think a lot of people are feeling like, are we having the conversations that we need to have on a daily basis? That's to me where we are. Are we having those conversations that we need to have on a daily basis, such as life insurance, such as making sure that we're safe when we're traveling, and the things that we're doing. So let me ask you a question. Do you have any, like, teenagers or any, you have a family, or is it just you?
I have four kids. I have a 17-year-old son, a son that's 12 that'll be 13 next month, and an 8-year-old that will be 9 next month, and a
Okay,
2-year-old
cool.
daughter.
Cool. Let me ask you something. Has your conversation with your children changed since the pandemic has happened? Like in regards to safety, in regards to just life, have you altered your conversation as a father with your children in regards to their safety?
Nope.
Okay. So nothing in regards to, make sure you are mindful of this, make sure you keep your mask on, make sure you wash your hands. You haven't said anything extra.
Uh-uh.
Okay, that's interesting to hear though. That's interesting. And I'm goddamn shocked.
Cause I'm one of those people that believe the more that you say something and the more that you see it and hear it and read it, it becomes real to you. As Passport said last night, he was like, the way that when that shit first dropped away, that's all they talked about. Everybody at some point had coronavirus. It felt like they did because they were worried, they were wondering. That's why so many people went out and got a test even though they didn't have symptoms. That's why they were like, "Oh, we got free testing," and everybody was like, "Well, I wonder, do I have it? I don't feel sick, but they saying you might not feel sick to get it," and they were just running to get tests. So my kids, they just have been living their life. None of them have been. Well, I take that back. My daughter was sick when it first happened, and we had to take her to the emergency room, and they kept her for observation, and they quarantined us shockingly. But her test came back negative, and she just had a respiratory infection.
Mm, okay. Okay. Let me ask you something. Do you think the coronavirus has changed people's sexual activity?
Not mine. If they're like me, it definitely has not.
Okay, not yours, but do you think overall it has changed, made people more cautious about their sexual partners?
Bro, have you not seen these people in the clubs? Hell no, it ain't made them more aware. These motherfuckers in the club, no mask, sipping pina coladas and smoking blunts and shit, twerking. No.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Would you have changed would you have opened clubs back up?
Me personally, no.
Uh-oh. 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 You about to get some fucking hate now, motherfucker. You done fucked up.
Well, my reasoning for that is hell, I like sports events and I haven't been able to go to certain sports events that I like. And it's definitely more space in these sporting arenas that I can socially distance in than it is in the fucking club.
So you would have okay, let me ask you something. What would have been your I'm not gonna make it hard for you, I'm gonna make it real easy for you. What would have been your top five? And matter of fact, I want to see what people say in the chat room. And I'm gonna make it even simpler. What would have been your top three things that you would have closed down and the top three things that you would have kept open for the functionality of communities?
Oh.
I know, bro. I'm making you think of it. This is a tough conversation, goddamn it. You should have never hit the link.
Schools,
Okay.
which we did, clubs, because that's useless, and damn, a third one. Oh, well, they didn't shut the public transportation down, but they did limit it. So those would fuck it, airlines
Okay, so you would have shut down airlines, schools, and
and
clubs.
clubs,
Okay, what would you have kept open?
everything in between. I just would have. Everybody would have had to do like to go models. I wouldn't have stopped beer places, bars, which took a hit. I wouldn't have stopped them. They just would have had to have a to go menu. They would have had to start serving food and serving to go alcoholic beverages, and I would have loosened the alcoholic beveraging serving shit, knowing that it's a pandemic going on.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. I'm trying to think like what I would have since you gave the closures, what I would have closed down. Schools, I definitely would have closed. Because that involves the safety of our children. I definitely would have closed all clubs, period. If you serve alcohol, it would have got shut down. And I would have made it so that way you can go. I probably would have kept open certain things or something that served alcohol, maybe like grocery stores. But of course, they only serve so much liquor. But I think I would have kept access to alcohol, but it wouldn't have been a gathering place to drink alcohol. You understand what I'm saying? So I would have shut down clubs, all clubs, uh, and then I would have shut down also schools, and let me see what else. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. Like, what the hell else I would have shut down? I don't know. Oh, there you go. Jeremy says sporting events. Definitely. I would have definitely shut down sporting events. So those three I would have definitely shut down. Definitely. Definitely. I don't know what the hell happened to MONEYBOY Trey. I don't know if his Wi-Fi kicked off or what. But let me ask y'all something or whatever case may be. What three things would you have shut down? What three things would you have shut down? We have closed down clubs, sporting events, and airlines, open schools, gyms, and food places, but with COVID guidelines. I get it. I get it. That makes sense. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
Take my sports away. Sports got us through the pandemic. We were watching niggas play horse from the house. Remember when that was like the first sporting event that popped up after everything had been canceled? We was watching niggas play horse. Then we watched motherfuckers play golf.
Um, So here's my thing. I think that COVID-19, this pandemic, has forced adults to be adults, parents to be parents, people that's in relationships to actually get to know their significant others. It's definitely have pushed the narrative that um, you need to do what you're supposed to do. And I think that by shutting down schools, I'm not saying that shut it down to the point where there is no learning going on. Of course, kicking in that virtual learning, but it's so funny that there was nothing in place. Like it took so long to actually figure out what the hell we gonna do because there's really no plan to ramp up.
It was
Um,
new.
so yeah, definitely. But to me personally, I think that would have came along in the lines of FEMA. Like when you got that disaster relief. Okay, what do we do if something actually hits our state? What will we do? What you know? What I'm saying what actions or phases will we go into? And I believe that should have been a phase. Okay, with our children, what are we going to do? So I definitely would have shut down going to schools. And again, when you talked about social distancing, I would have definitely had something where it's virtual learning, and that way, if the parents are at home with their children, they can help them, and monitor their success. But yeah,
Hey,
I definitely. Hey, my man said playing Madden is a sport, bro.
hey. Hey, those cats lost money, even the e-gamers, because they lost out on big tournaments and shit where they had crowds where people were coming to spend money to watch these cats play.
No doubt, no doubt. Gyms, clubs, bars, and sporting events. I agree with you. I think that you can always do push-ups and sit-ups. You can always run up and down your block. So yeah, definitely, I definitely would have shut down the gyms. The clubs is a lot of people. Probably would have saved a lot of money. Probably would have saved a lot of money. People spending a lot of money going to the clubs and of course the bars. I think that's a great combination right there. I think that's a great combination, and I think that would help mitigate a lot of uh, uh, spread of the coronavirus. I definitely think that's a good combination.
Back to your FEMA comment, though. FEMA doesn't come in until after the disaster has happened. That's how they're able to release the funds, the
Yep.
unlimited funds to take care of the disaster.
Yep. Understood. My thing about it is, in order for them to come in and provide any type of relief, there is a plan. Okay, this is how much money is going to be allocated here. These are the people that we're going to assist over here. This is these are the agencies that we're going to work with, whether it's the National Guard, Coast Guard, et cetera, et cetera. So my thing about it is there should be a plan, and I'm not saying that FEMA should implement the plan. I'm saying that along with that emergency disaster relief, there should be a plan for pandemics. There should be a plan for when we have to say, okay, everything is shut down, and now we're going to go into this. Like when we talked about the stimulus check, it took a while for the stimulus checks to get out to everybody. It took a while, and then a lot of people
It
in a
was like a month. That wasn't a while. Considering that they had to vote and they had to print them up, it took like a month. That wasn't bad.
okay, but see, here's the thing: that month, you got to think about it. For people that live check to check, for people that are accustomed to getting paid every 14 days, you're talking about four weeks from the time that they said, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then some people didn't get their check right away. So
Yep.
was there a better stream to say, okay, we're going to make sure that you get this money faster and on a regular basis, more consistently. So I think there are
Damn.
a lot of things that could be fixed and changed.
I don't know, but I know I had to file my taxes to do it, and I'm never. Yeah, I had to file my taxes to do it, and I wasn't gonna do that shit. But then they said that was the only way you could get it, so I filed my taxes.
You had to see, and you had to file your taxes in order to get your stimulus check.
Yep.
See, and that's what I'm saying. So with all of that being said, do you feel like that was necessary, or do you feel like, hey, I need my money and I want it now?
I don't think it was necessary, but I do also understand them having to verify people that should get the money. So even if they said you don't have to file your taxes, but you have to go online and fill out a identity form so we can know that it's you, that's still going to take time for them to get it and process all the people in America to give them money back. Then they got to figure out who makes above a certain amount because that was part of it. If you made like over 100,000 or whatever, you weren't eligible and shit like that.
Yeah, I believe that there were some people that found a way to kind of milk the system and get extra money, but I do believe that there were people out there that really needed that $1,200. To me, $1,200 is like it's I mean, I wouldn't say play money, but I mean, it's not no serious money. So the fact of the matter is, there were people out there that were relying on that money to come in, so that way they could actually do what they needed to do to take care of their family. So I feel like there should be a system that is more fine tuned to get people their money without a lot of pushback.
But here's the flip side to that. And just think of all the millions that Black Lives Matter took in during this pandemic.
Okay.
I'm just pointing out, like, we know the government is a piece of shit 90% of the time. So if we have organizations like that, Black Lives Matter, that are for the people, actually, shouldn't they have been stepping in instead of donating to political causes? Like
Hmm.
damn near every corporation in America sent some money to Black Lives Matter.
Hmm. Okay.
Did they spread any of it back to the people?
So here's my thing when people pose a question like that to me, like, what financially is a company or organization doing for their community or for the cause in which they say that they are rooting for or advocating for? I don't know what companies or what financially the Black Lives Matter movement has done. I know them to be, in my opinion, more reactive than proactive.
They did less than the government.
I
They
normally,
gave less than the 1,200 the government gave out because they gave zero.
well, I normally see them, after the fact. So if you saying that, Black Lives Matter was behind the political push of the Democratic Party and they donated to them, then I'll be more inclined to say, well, the Democratic Party ended up winning the election. So hey, it is what it is. But I like this question by Mr. Wilson, or this statement. It says, Mario, I think that people should take the vaccination because when this pandemic goes away, many folks will come to grips with the reality of losing their homes. These landlords are coming.
So you saying the vaccine gonna make them high so they can cope with about to lose their house?
I don't know. Is that what you interpreted?
Oh, I'm not. I wasn't. It's not about how much money they donated. I was just saying, like, we're saying the government gave people money, and then we not what not. I'm just saying us as a collective. We say the government was slow, and black people weren't able to get some of the PPE money. We know the government's not for us. We got organizations like Black Lives Matter that claim they're for black people. They brought in damn near billions of dollars this year. They could have single-handedly given out PPE loans. They could have went out and helped and did some shit in the community. Instead, their focus was on politics.
But isn't that, see? Here's the thing. I think that's what we may differ. I believe that by affecting uh, political seats and by having political candidates, it does promote a better narrative for Black people if they stay the course.
we needed some more money from Black Lives Matter personally helping out than we did a political candidate. Fuck Joe Biden. If
Well,
you said we needed the money, they had the funds. They literally could have affected every black household in America, dude. I'm not bullshit.
well, here's the great thing about it though. Is that Black Lives Matter mission statement? Is there a mission statement that we're going to give money to political parties to help the black community? I don't know if that's their narrative or not. Because if they're just saying we're just donating, then I would say that everyone that is in a position that has money should also be donating. You know, when you get the Jay-Z's and the Beyonce's and the Rick Ross and the 50 Cent, I would say that all of those guys need to be buying in on, well, we're going to support this candidate because this candidate is for the black community or urban community. And I believe that that's something that, you know, it's one less mansion or one less car that you're going to drive or live in. But I think that that's the issue. We don't have anybody that unifies us as an urban community. You know, there's not one person that a lot of people really, really truthfully listen to and can articulate what the black community needs.
Because we don't even know. Nobody can, like, we can't even agree on a top five, to be honest.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, what here? You know, it's so funny when Obama ran for president. I was under the certainty that in my lifetime I would never see a black president. I was under the certainty that it was going to be some baby mama drama that killed him, some type of scandal people didn't know about. I'm gonna be honest with you. So the fact that he was able to go through his tenure, roughly unscathed. But the fact of the matter is, you know, now we're at this point where we're saying, well, you know, now we about to get a black female president, and we now have a black female vice president. So it's very interesting what
That
America.
lady is not black.
Well, I think she claims she's claiming to be black.
She light skinned.
This
That's
dude
as
right
far
here,
as we'll. That's as far as we'll go. She's light skinned.
this guy right here is some bullshit. You better leave that lady alone, bro. For Secret Service come get you, bro.
I don't got no problem with her. So I'm just not accepting her as black, lady. You're mixed. You can't say you just can't throw everything out and just say you one thing. You're mixed. So you
Okay,
light
but
skinned.
she's a part black then. She's part African American.
Okay, she's part African American. She's also white and Indian. So she needs to accept those other things and
How
not
do you
just
know
label
has
herself
not
as one.
accepted it? How you know she has not accepted it?
Because she lets them call her the first African American instead of saying I'm not. She don't take the Tiger Woods approach. Tiger
Bro.
said, y'all not gonna pigeonhole me. I'm gonna claim all my ethnicities, and people dragged him for that.
Well, if she claims everything, then she's claiming also to be black. So therefore, she is the first black VP, female.
She ain't claiming nothing else. She's just saying she's African American because it fits the narrative.
Well, either way, okay. So there are two things at stake here. Okay, there are two things in play. One, she's the first female vice president, and she's the first female vice president of color, whether you want to say Indian, Mexican, whatever you want to say. So therefore, she does represent a minority versus the majority. Can you
Mario
agree with that?
J, that lady ain't got no melanin. I can agree she's the first female. That's a good accomplishment, even though I'm very weary of it because a woman will be in charge of Joe Biden croaks with his old ass. But
So you don't feel like she's going to be good for America?
I don't think any woman president would be good for America.
Oh shit! You didn't just turn the fucking heat up in this tough love conversation. Why do you say that? Why do you feel like no woman can fit the damn shoes of a man in the presidency?
Do you let your woman run your
I
household?
ain't goddamn. Don't ask me. No, I'm asking the questions around this motherfucker.
I'm making a point. Do you let a woman run your household?
Yes.
Oh, you a
What do you
simp.
mean run the household though?
Like Kamala would run the country if she was the president. Does the woman make all the decisions in your house? Does she
But she's
run
not
it?
making all the decisions. She's the VP, not the president.
I'm saying, but we were
So that
saying
was a
if
bad
she
analogy.
died.
That was a bad example you just gave me. So
Well,
try again.
okay. A woman cannot run my house, so she definitely can't run the fucking country. She
A
just
woman
can't.
can't run your house. No, if no. It's a difference that she can't do what you will not allow her to do. So you will not allow a woman to run your household. That's what you're saying.
Nope, and I will not vote for a woman to ever be the damn president either. I will not allow my vote to go for her. Women still cry when they get cramps, bro, on their cycle. You want this running the country? An unstable, emotional creature every 30 days?
Well, shit, some men are unstable emotional creatures, and they cry every goddamn day.
Yeah, but are we?
You
Would you
can't tell
rather?
me you ain't never know no soft dudes, bro.
Would you rather have me on the battlefield with you or Sugar Shay, for example?
But you got to understand, I've been on the battlefield. A lot of people talk about that. I've been in combat, bro.
But you
Afghanistan, Iraq. I've been there with
got
women,
you.
and that did, hold on, with women that did not fold. Do you
Were,
understand?
were
I've
they
seen I've
shooting
seen
with
men
you?
piss on themselves.
Were
Big,
they shooting
strong,
with you?
burly dudes piss on themselves when it's females telling them, "Hey, get your shit together, buck up, let's go." I've seen that, so it's difficult for me for a man to say what a woman can't do mentally. We're not talking about physically. We're talking about mentally. Mentally, she probably has the capacity to go the distance.
I see. You are going to simp alone today, sir. You
I
didn't
am not
answer the
simping,
question.
jackass.
Which one would you prefer to be on the battlefield with, a man or a woman? Based off all your experiences, you still got to choose one. Who you going into war with, a male
that,
or a
that,
female?
that's not an appropriate. If you say if you say if we were doing a weightlifting competition, who would you pick, a man or a woman? I would pick a man. You got to give me something where it makes sense, because
It makes
mentally you don't
sense.
know how strong someone is.
I'm picking the man every time. I'm not going
Okay,
into battle with the
okay, no,
woman.
no, no. So guess what? Guess what? Let me give you some, because I know you're trying to give me some. I know you digging down, you googling some shit to tell me. It's cool. It's
No, I'm
cool.
not.
Let me do this. Let me do this for you. If you were in a debate, if you were going to have a debate, would you rather have Kamala Harris, the former DA, right? Or would you rather have the dude that you know from your corner, from your homeboy around the block?
Candace Owens.
No, you can't pick no girl.
I would tell you. Well, you gave me
I
Kamala.
gave you I gave you
I'm
Camilla.
swapping Kamala. I'm swapping her
You
out for
can't swap
Candace
her.
Owens.
You
Okay,
pick a
I
man
would
or pick her.
in a debate. It depends on what
What?
the
See, you
topic
say I
is.
got him against the wall, y'all.
It depends on what the topic is.
No, a debate. Period. It could be a fucking debate about smoking weed. It don't
Oh,
matter.
I'm going with my homie.
Okay, so in the court of law, okay, which that's going to be where the debate is held. You're going to pick your homeboy versus a goddamn prosecutor.
Well, I didn't know it was going to court of law. Of course not. That'd be dumb.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's one for Camilla. Now I want you to take it out. Now I
But
want you to take
but
it to the
why
street.
is the man
Let's take it to the street.
unqualified? Why did you give the man a street nigga in my corner? Why couldn't he be a
And I
damn
gave you an
attorney at
easy
law?
topic though. I said, see, here's the thing. You think that a dude from around your corner, from around your way, could talk about smoking weed or rolling a joint, you know what I'm saying, as if she couldn't. When she's a prosecutor, you don't think she knows about goddamn dime bags, eight ball.
She
You
don't know
don't
how
think
to
she knows
roll
about
and
that?
if she doesn't have the experience of rolling and smoking it,
But you
no.
don't know that. You don't know that. Listen, bro. Listen. I know a lot of collegiate people. Okay, a lot of people that are in goddamn Fortune 500 companies, and they smoke weed. Shit, a lot of them smoke other shit. But the fact of the matter is, you think that they wouldn't know because they're not, they don't hang around you. It's crazy, and that's a lot of times the issue that we have with Americans, especially black men. Well, she doesn't know better, and I'm telling you, these people know better. You don't
Well,
know
let me
what
put
she
it
was in high school or college or whatever.
let me put it like this. If the guy and the woman have the same qualifications, I'm going with the guy every time. I just am. That's the sexist part of me. It just is what it is.
So you're going. So now you see what he did, y'all. You see how this dude trying to play me right now? The same qualifications. The
Yes,
same
you
qualification.
made this nigga a hood nigga. I would be dumb to pick a hood nigga over somebody that's qualified in
You
their
said you
field of
going with the
study.
man every time. I could have said that motherfucker had no teeth in his
I
mouth.
didn't expect you to say my nigga was Gucci Mane though. I didn't expect you to say
If
that.
you pick Gucci Man, you's a dumb motherfucker. I'm telling you right now. Because you're going to be locked up if you picked him. I'm telling you right now. If you picked his ass to fucking give you a defense, you fucked. You fucked. And this is the whole point right here. What this man just said. Diversity is better. You need somebody that's well-rounded, that understands all concepts, so that way they can have a conversation. But if you're just saying, regardless, I'm gonna pick the man. If that's the way America runs, we always gonna be fucked.
I'm picking the man for leadership positions such as the president of the United States. I don't
Okay.
care about her running no Fortune 500 company, but some important shit where big decisions are made that affect the world and the country. I don't want a woman doing that. I
Who
don't
works?
want a woman having the nuclear codes on her cycle. I don't
Okay.
want a woman talking shit
So
to
who works harder? Who works harder as a CEO? A woman or a man?
the man that built the company.
No, that's not what I asked you, player.
I
Who works
said
harder?
the
No, no,
man,
no.
and then I threw in the caveat that
Statistically,
built the
who works
company.
harder? Listen, who works harder, a man or a woman, as a CEO?
I said a man, and then I threw in the caveat because he built the company. Because you can't name a company that a woman built that is just a Fortune 500 company. Name one, not two.
No.
Name one.
Hold on. I'm damn sure I can find someone, but
Don't Google it, Mister
no,
Simp. It's supposed to be on
what
the
I
top of
want to
your
tell you
head.
was it is a known fact. Anyone that knows women that are in charge of something, women go way harder than men when they're in those positions. They go way harder. That means they know the ins and outs, and normally they don't have much of a personal life because they're so engulfed inside that business. Now, of course, you would argue the same thing that men do as well, but women know that they're outnumbered. So therefore, they learn they shit so no one can knock them off they shit. They're way more competitive.
Men work harder because they're trying to get the finest bitch, and they know they have to get to the top of their company to be able to live and afford the type of woman that they want. I'm just saying, whether the woman work at a Fortune 500 company or not, some man will be willing to take care of her.
I hear you. I hear you. I just hope that when your daughter gets older, you know what I'm saying, you give her the advice that she can do anything a man can do and possibly better.
That would be lying to her
Why do you say that?
because she cannot do anything a man can do possibly better. Can she fuck a bitch and get that bitch pregnant? No, she cannot.
Well, she can
Can
have sex
can
with a woman better than a
can,
man.
can she
That's possible. That's
can she
possible.
lift the airplane? Hold up, back to your damn combat situation. So you're on the field and this lady is next to you firing an M16 with you.
M60.
So she was in a combat zone with you.
I was in charge of a platoon in Afghanistan, and one of my gunner, was a female sergeant, and the other gunners, were mostly males. So I had two females and two um, males, and the females were tougher than the males. Now in sports, you will want to pick the goddamn males. Just overall looking as a soldier, you would want to pick the males. But when it came down to performing, because those people, because they took it serious, they were saying, "Hey, I'm going into a situation where I may have to do hand to hand combat. I may have to motherfucker if this goddamn shit, which it did happen. We get hit by IED. You know what I'm saying? And one of our vehicles go down, and it's left on me to have to carry someone to the next vehicle. I have to be in shape. I have to be strategic because sometimes it's not about brawn; it's about brains. And these females who received the Bronze Star, and so did I, It was about brains. So a lot of times when I hear men say something, I realize that they only have the information that they have based on the experience that they have. And I don't knock them and I don't hold it against them, but I'm damn sure gonna advocate for women that I know that have stood the test of time and stood in the trenches. You goddamn right.
You know what I noticed since this war on terrorism has been happening and they've been mentioning the soldiers' names and they show the caskets coming back over here. I never recall hearing a woman's name on any of those lists. Why aren't the women dying in combat since they just out there doing it? Why only the men getting picked off?
That's not true, bro.
I'm
That,
just
that's
saying
not
what the media
A
doesn't
lot of
report
times when
these
you hear
women.
those men, hold on. A lot of times when you hear about those people dying, it's one because those guys are part of infantry or they're part of special forces. So, and then when you have, you know what I'm saying, combat units like myself, when you have small little units or whatever case be, by the grace of God, a lot of those people, even though if they have contact with the enemy, a lot of them make it home. But what you don't hear about is a lot of those veterans like myself, you know, who have to go to the VA hospital and go, you know, through counseling because they lost goddamn hearing or whatever the case may be. You know, of course they're not going to be in body bags. They didn't die, but they definitely are going through some type of trauma and shit. So you might not hear about it. But go to the VA hospital and say, "Oh, I'm looking for the fucking female that was downrange." You know, because I don't believe no female could do a man job, bro. You probably be in for a fight. That's one, and then two, on
I
top
whoop
of
out them bitches. Pardon my language. No female
you
finna
going to
whoop
hell,
me.
bro.
Ain't no
You going to
female
hell.
finna whoop me.
You going
I-
to okay? Hit
I'm
your ass with a
sorry.
crutch.
You gotta say, yeah, she gonna have to use a weapon. She's just
Yeah,
straight up hand to hand combat.
they gonna think you senile if you walk in there and say that. They gonna think you crazy as fuck. You sound crazy as fuck. I'm letting you know that right now.
No, bro.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked with a woman in any capacity, whereas she was in a position to save your life?
No.
Okay, cool.
Well, yes. Well, I take that back
Uh
because
oh, this motherfucker about to lie. Listen to the
no,
lie,
I
y'all.
did. No, I did security forces in fucking the Air Force. So I mean, yes,
Okay,
there you have but security forces, don't get it twisted. They ain't no fucking combat zone. We were fucking police officers on the base and guarding fucking B-52s.
okay, okay.
So it's not like we were in a combat situation where I had to depend on her under stress and under decision because I feel like they're gonna fold. I'm not speaking of all women, but it's just in their nature when shit to hit the fan to run for cover and have the man protect them.
So let me
It's
ask
just
you
human
something.
nature.
Let me ask you. Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you? This is something else that I think that we may be able to relate to. Have you ever been in a shootout before?
I've been shot at before. I haven't been in a shootout.
Okay, cool. So check this out. I can tell you right now that a lot of people that act like they about that life in a shootout, they really not. Dudes is gonna fall. So my thing about it is, what makes you believe that all men or the majority of men are
I
going to
ain't
rise
say,
to the
oh
occasion?
nigga, don't do that.
I said majority. I switched it and said majority.
All we heard was all, sir. You know what you're doing.
All majority. No, man, because I'm trying to make you a believer, man. I'm trying to give you some. I believe you got certain experiences. I got certain experiences. So I would be remiss if I didn't tell you my experiences. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why I would say, hell yeah, I would give that lady an opportunity because it's about mental. She ain't got to go in there and lift no goddamn weights. You know, this is a fucking marathon. This ain't no race. This is a marathon.
her
Can you
her
last
mental
the
is
distance?
to cry and say you hurt my feelings, bro. We still talking about women at the end of the day. Even your toughest woman is somewhere arguing with they nigga talking about they feelings got hurt from what he said. Even though they tough as a motherfucker.
So you're saying that she would lead the country emotionally?
Yes, because that's what women do. Come
Hmm.
on now, keep it real. That's why
So
I said, would you let a woman run your house?
So
If she
George
can't
Bush,
run your house,
George Bush Jr. didn't lead the country to war when they was talking shit about his daddy.
all the men have.
So that
But
was
that's
consider that to be emotional.
No, he had it. No, because he played. He didn't act straight off because of it. He plotted and schemed up on a reason to do it.
Hmm.
And we still had to show America's muscle too. At the end of the day, like that's what we do. We're men. We flex that muscle.
Bro, I guess I just done seen too much, man. I done seen too much. I done seen cats pass out, big dudes pass out because they getting goddamn a shot of insulin. You know what I'm saying? So I done seen too much. No, real shit, man.
No shit, I've seen when we got the little the fucking penicillin shots in the ass. I've seen the oohs and ahs
I
and all of that.
yeah, I don't know if I could pass out somebody sticking a needle in my ass like that. I'm up, a tent up. Like I'm up, motherfucker. I ain't going to sleep ever. Like shit. But yeah, I mean, hey, listen, bro. Look, I really appreciate, you know what I'm saying, your time coming through. This has been definitely an interesting conversation, informative. I'm hoping that, you know what I'm saying, we definitely can get you back up over here. Let people know where they can find you at, brother.
Money Boy Trey with a three on all platforms. Money
No
Boy
doubt.
Trey with a three. Stop simping. And see, you even got the woman in there talking about not all. I didn't say all women, but if we're talking about DNA, we know DNA wise, all women are emotional creatures. It's not a bad thing, but that's just what makes y'all. It's just like men by DNA are supposed to be protectors and providers, and we have the need to compete with each other.
No
It's not
doubt.
a bad thing. It's just nature.
We hear you. We hear you. We hear you. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate you rocking with us. It's definitely been a great conversation. I really appreciate Money Boy Trey for jumping on the line and hitting me up. I know Jeremy said he wanted to jump on here. I sent the link, but I guess I don't know if he could get on here or not. But again, I don't know if you guys are going to take the vaccine or not. I say proceed with caution, and do whatever you need to do in regards to your family, your health, your lineage. And I want all you guys to have a great, and blessed day. Until next time, this is Mario J. This is Tough Love, and y'all adult up. Peace.
Money boy, money boy, money boy.
Trade.
Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade.
Private jet flights overseas.